before you get going, why don't you tell us where you come from?
Well, I'm not from Denmark.
Oh.
No, I'm from the United States, obviously, and even worse than that, I'm from the South. I'm from the southern states. So not only do I have an American accent, but I have a Southern American accent. And so it's even harder to understand what I say. I'm so sorry about that.
So, where you come from, is it like that, where you're walking around through picnic people all the time?
Well, not all the time. I just happened to, actually, that video shoot, we had to delay it, I think, twice for weather. And so it normally doesn't look like that, honestly. But it was good that you showed that, because those are my friends, and that's the church where I serve in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, wow. So what do you do in Atlanta, Georgia?
Well, I am a worship leader at a church called Perimeter Church.
So what does that mean to be a worship leader?
Well, first of all, I was talking to some of the guys in the band tonight, and I was realizing that church over here looks so different than where we are. In Atlanta, everyone goes to church, whether they're Christians or not. They just go to church because their parents raised them to go to church, and everyone in their family has always gone to church. In which that has its own share of complications. Talking to people about and finding out whether they really do have a personal relationship with Jesus, or whether they just think they've always been a churchgoer, always been a Christian. But what I do at my church, so our church is about 4,000 people, and so it's...
I'm sorry.
It's a pretty... Which I tell you that to explain what my job is. We have...
Like on Sunday there are 4,000 people in your church?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't have that here.
We have 4 services, and our sanctuary holds, I think it's 2,300. So it's... Well, I don't know if it's cool or not. It's harder to get to know people. But one of the things I do, I'm one of the worship leaders at my church. And the other thing that I do is I'm kind of a pastor of women there. So I meet with women and try to just get to know them and talk to them about how they can serve. Because with our worship ministry alone, we probably have 150 or 200 people. So there's a lot of people to keep track of.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So, did you come from a Christian family?
Well, my parents were both raised in the church, and I remember becoming a Christian when I was 10.
Oh, wow.
And I grew up Baptist.
Okay.
And my husband grew up Episcopal. And so when we got married, we tried to find a happy medium between the two. And we decided to be Presbyterian. But it was mostly because that's the church that offered me a job. So now we're Presbyterian. There you
go. Oh, wow. So when you were 10 years old,
yes,
and you became a Christian, did you say, you know what, when I grow up, I'm going to be a worship leader?
Oh, no, not at all. I didn't even know what a worship leader was when I was 10. The church where I was raised, I was actually raised in another church that was about 3,000 people. And this massive 100-person choir, and we didn't have worship leaders. There was a minister of music. And he'd wear a suit and a tie every Sunday and would lead the choir. Is that what y'all do over here, or do y'all do more? Okay. Minus the 100.
We don't do that at all.
You don't? Okay. It's funny because, every now and then people will say, so you're the minister of music at your church? And I have to have this flashback of, it's like a picture of me wearing a suit and a tie and leading a choir, which I don't know how to do any of that. So, so that's kind of how I was raised, and it never occurred to me that you could do this as a vocation, that you could do this for a living, or even that God would let me sing and write songs about Him.
So, before you get into your speech, which we're all looking forward to, how did it happen? How did you suddenly say, you know what, I'm going to write a song? Like, that seems like the thing for me to do today.
Well, it's funny, the first song that I wrote, I was in a band when I was 19. I was in I was at a Bible college, I think very similar to this one probably, and I met some guys who had just started a band, and they were like, hey, come be in our band, and I had grown up playing string bass. Do y'all have that over here?
Like the big bass?
The big bass
Oh, yeah.
that you bow. I grew up doing that and playing bluegrass some. Do y'all have bluegrass here?
Not so much.
No. You should check it out sometime.
I'm a fan of
It's
bluegrass.
really fun. You just use 3 chords the whole time.
So it's the same as punk rock.
Yes, but not as loud. And you do it with a bunch of, like, sitting around with a bunch of barbecue and stuff, like on someone's front porch or something. But anyway, what was I even talking about?
How you started writing songs.
Oh, yeah. So I joined this band, and we wanted to make a CD. And so first we got a collection of songs that we liked, and then we found out about copyright laws. And we found out that if you wanted to record other people's songs, you had to pay them.
Yes.
And so then we thought, okay, this isn't going to work. We don't have any money. So we decided that we were each going to go home and write a song.
So it was just like, okay, that's the plan?
Yes.
Awesome.
So I might even play that first song. I'll probably do that tonight during the concert. That very first song that I wrote.
Please make sure we all know it's that song.
I will. I'll definitely let you know.
Your
So
first-
y'all can go easy on me.
Was your first song Indescribable?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
That was probably my 10th or
Oh,
so.
wow. That's pretty good. It took you 10 songs to get one that was
It
recognized
was
all over the
decent.
world. Yeah.
Well, I haven't been able to get one since. I think that was just kind of a fluke. I don't know.
Well, what is it you're going to be talking to us about tonight?
Well, I received a few emails just about what the conference was going to be about, and the main question, as broad as this might sound, is just the question of how to be a worship leader. And I know that that's one that it was even good for me to look back over. How would I even describe what it is that I do? And I know that a lot of you guys might be from families or communities that don't recognize that title. I know even my family, they're like, you're a worship leader? What is that? And I have to go, what is that? What does it mean how do you be a worship leader? What does it mean to be a worship leader? So that's what I'm going to talk about tonight.